monitored, because we want to be able to test and assess the effectiveness of this program as it meets a need, an anticipated need in our schools, particularly for those families where access to food may be a great challenge.
I'm Carissa Williamson, and this has been Your Government in Action, a proud presentation of Bahamas Information Services. Join us on Tuesday evenings, where we bring you highlights, coverage, and information as we continue to do what we do best, linking people and government.
Colon cancer is the third most common cancer affecting Bahamians. Your risk of developing colon cancer is increased if you have a personal history of colorectal cancer or colon.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Coming up in the news, residents on the island of Bimini reflecting on the life of their elected official, the Honorable Obi Wilchcombe. And will there be a state funeral held for the West Grand Bahama and Bimini MP? The PLP's chairman responds. Plus, what happens now? A prominent attorney gives insight on what takes place during a by-election. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Good evening and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. I'm Ramiko Knowles. Thank you so much for tuning in. Topping the news tonight, the country in mourning following the passing of Minister of Social Services, Information and Broadcasting and Member of Parliament. To many on Bimini, he wasn't just a politician, he was a brother and friend. Simone Davis joins us live with the latest from Bimini.
Yes, Rumiko, as the residents of Bimini bind together to mourn their beloved MP, a longtime friend of the late Minister Obi Wilchcombe says residents find solace in knowing that his legacy would live on through the work that he has done and the relationships he has built.
It was such a shocking, because he's like a brother to me from another mother, but from he stepped foot in Bimini in 2000 to take up the candidacy for running at Bimini and West End. He came and I picked him up, and I was the first one to really take him around the island, me and a few other ones.
As he became emotional, Smith recounted the moment he received the heartbreaking news during a somber phone call that would change his life.
Everybody started on social media and started sending things, and because I got the call like shortly after 7. I got it shortly after 7, and then all of a sudden by 7:30 or however, my phone started, just going off the chain, and a lot of people didn't believe it until they really, they were hoping, because you were hearing, on social media, you start hearing so much different things that he fell out, and they trying to revive him, or they heading up to Freeport from West End, and so you were hearing so much different things, but as time go on, it started to sink in that, this is, what I mean?
Most residents have said that Wilchcombe had an uncanny ability to make everyone feel like family, as he was there in both times of celebration and moments of despair. Smith says this death has definitely shaken the island.
The mood on the island, a lot of people were saddened, because, with him being the MP all those years.
As the MP for Bimini, Minister Wilchcombe left an indelible mark on the island's development and met countless milestones.
I watched Bimini came from a little island to a little city now, and a lot of it came under his watch. You had the Hilton Resort, you had the pier, the cruise pier, you had the dredging in the harbor, you had the airport, renovation, you had, you know, the road. So a lot of it came under him. So, you know, he told me, say, when he leave Bimini, if they ever move Bimini off of us, he want to make sure he leave a legacy here in Bimini, and he figure his job will be done, because he wanted Bimini to move up to a different level.
And having done all of that, Smith says his friend of 20 plus years still wasn't satisfied and wanted to do more. But there was one thing about the late MP that impressed his friend the most.
What I was trying to figure how he could just stand up there and speak without reading anything off the paper. I mean, it was like so amazing. I mean, me being the chief counselor for 7.5 years, I say, man, that have to be in you to just go up there and just keep going and recite without looking at reading anything. So, I mean, he had the gift.
Now, Ramiko, while acknowledging that the late minister is irreplaceable, Smith noted that the sad truth is that someone has to take up the mantle, and local government officials have been in talks about possible candidates that may be revealed at a later date. Live in studio for the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Simone Davis. Back to you at the desk.
Well, thanks, Simone. The outpouring of condolences for Minister of Social Services, Information and Broadcasting, the Honorable Obadiah Wilchcombe, continues. Senior staff at the Ministry of Social Services here on Grand Bahama sharing fond memories of someone whom they called a pioneer in the ministry. Jolanda Thompson-Everest reports.
The Ministry of Social Services mourning the loss of the Honorable Obadiah Wilchcombe. The senior staff here emotional about his passing, and they say that his level of dedication and commitment towards the ministry was second to none.
We were saddened by his passing yesterday. I have known Minister Wilchcombe for many, many years.
I sit here grieving, not with sadness per se, but one of happiness, because I know he did his part and he made a difference in social services.
The mere fact that we've lost a minister is something that is going to take a while for us to really, truly accept within ourselves. This is not the usual, this is not the norm for us at social services. And I must say, even for Grand Bahama itself, to be able to lose a serving minister.
As the Grand Bahama office speaks to the major impact of their former minister, they emotionally share how this particular office has seen improvement since his appointment. They say a few initiatives were in the pipeline for a while, and under his leadership, some of those ideas materialized.
Many persons on our unemployment work program that got hired just several weeks ago. There were promotions throughout the department during his tenure. Like I said, he made, in his short time with us, he truly made an impact.
He wanted to see that change. He wanted the perception of social services to be one of that was caring, compassionate, because that's the kind of person he was.
The one thing my mind goes back to is that meeting when he had brought in the now minister, Pierre Glover, into that session to be able to speak to the staff of social services, and that in itself spoke volume for the staff. They were able to speak from their hearts, the burdens that they've been carrying for many, many years, and that in itself, to be able to see that it came to fruition, was a blessing for the staff.
Gomez and her team anticipates the replacement for the new minister, and while they welcome the appointment, they are also hoping that this new minister will build upon the legacy that Minister Wilchcombe has started. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Jolanda Thompson-Everest.
Well, on Sunday night, Wilchcombe delivered his last public address at the PLP Women's Branch meeting. There, he spoke about his passion for social services and his hope for the way forward.
To be honest with you, before I became minister, I was not knowledgeable of the reality. I didn't know what some people contend with. But when I sit in that chair every day, and I think of the difficulties every day of those children I've come to a conclusion, we fix it.
It was his final address to the women of the Progressive Liberal Party. The late Honorable Obi Wilchcombe served as the Minister of Social Services for 2 years since the Davis administration took office in September of 2021. Before then, he contends that he was not fully aware of the hardships many are faced with in the country, especially children. But when he became cognizant, he was moved with compassion.
I'm the father of hundreds of children now because they live in one of the homes. Yes. Whether it's in Nazareth or Ramfully, I'm the father. I'm the ward of the state. And the truth is, the children who come to us are all children broken.
The minister shared experiences of meeting with burdened parents who could not provide hot meals for their kids. He also shared experiences of walking into homes of those who slept on floors. Sadly, there were also encounters with those who succumbed to the pressure and unalived themselves. He called upon the women of the Progressive Liberal Party to go out into the communities, find the issues, and bring them to the government's attention.
Don't let's do it when it's election time only. Let's do it now. The Progressive Liberal Party, our party should always be in the forefront. Should we not be out there leading? Should we not be putting things together now? Should we not be organizing? Should you not be asking social services, what are you going to do? We have 200 or 300 need the mammograms. Should you not be putting pressure on your government to deliver the service? Not to be quiet because it's your government. It's to demand of your government because that's our responsibility.
Echoing from his One Love slogan, the late Honorable Obi Wilchcombe told the women they can change the scope of reality by working together, adding that the Ministry of Social Services is unable to do it by themselves.
Feed the poor, guide the youth, and bring peace to every heart. That's our responsibility. We introduced that. And if we did, should we not get up off our feet, work with social services, organize? What are we going to lead if we don't have a country to lead? What are we going to lead if we don't have people to lead because the people need help and we're not there for them now? What about those people who need help?
Well, after the confirmation of Wilchcombe's death yesterday, his body was transported to the airport and then flown to New Providence as a sitting cabinet minister and a member of parliament. The question is, will there be a state funeral for the late minister? Well, Foreign Affairs Minister, the Honorable Fred Mitchell, explains what happens next, noting that this decision is solely up to the family.
The laws that apply to the death of any citizen of the Bahamas applies to a member of parliament. And the first thing, therefore, I would say in connection with this is that remember that this is a family matter. This is not just a public figure or an official matter. It's a family matter. And there are a lot of sensitivities which I think ought to be observed when a family is trying to grieve and absorb the news of a sudden death. And adding to this, of course, is the fact that he was and is a public figure, as we do with all public funerals or state funerals. If the family requests it and wants it, will then fall in lockstep behind their wishes. So it's first and foremost a family matter, and let us allow them to deal with it as such.
Meanwhile, Minister Wilchcombe's body was transported to New Providence yesterday, leaving many residents questioning why he had to be flown to the nation's capital. Minister Mitchell is now responding to those questions.
I don't think there's any special thing to do with a cabinet minister or a member of parliament. As I said, procedures are the same for all citizens of the Bahamas. And my understanding, having spoken to the Commissioner of Police this morning, is that the autopsy had to be done, and it's being done in Nassau.
Well, the seat for West Grand Bahama and Bimini now remains vacant following the death of its member of parliament. Tonight, our Aja Kwan joins us live with what happens next.
In the wake of the sudden loss of the Honorable Obi Wilchcombe, Ramiko, a by-election for the West Grand Bahama and Bimini constituency is imminent. While Minister Fred Mitchell says it is unseemingly early for such a discussion, both he and attorney David Thompson explains the law after a member of parliament passes away.
The writ of election starts the process for the by-election to be held.
Part 5 of the Statute Law of the Bahamas holds crucial information on the procedures that must be followed in the event of the death of a member of Parliament. It includes the writs of election, which states that if during any recess of the House of Assembly, any member shall die or become disqualified from continuing to serve as a member by virtue of any of the provisions of the Constitution or this Act, once the Speaker of the House has been given notice, he or she shall send a message to the Governor General requesting the issuance on a writ of election.
The law dictates that when a writ of election is issued, that writ of election must be returnable within 21 to 30 days.
In the midst of that time frame, the writ is given to a directed returning officer who shall, no later than the second day after receiving the document, give public notice of the election, alerting the place and time forms of nomination papers may be obtained.
A by-election has the same procedures as a general election, except that it's just for that particular constituency, so the nomination procedures are the same.
But the question is, what is the time frame looking like for the by-election?
If we look at the 5 days that is required for the notice from the returning officer, and we look at the 30 days that is the maximum for the writ of election, you're talking about anywhere from 25 days or less.
And with the recent news of Minister Wilchcombe's passing, has the process, as stated in the Constitution, already begun?
The official processes, such as they are, will be underway, and it will be dealt with in due course.
And Ramiko, while it has only been a little over 24 hours since Minister Wilchcombe's passing, a notice of election has not been issued as yet, but it is expected to happen soon. Live in studio reporting for the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Azure Quant. Back to you at the desk, Ramiko.
Thanks so much, Aja. Well, in a matter of days, the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas have been dealt blows dealing with the losses of their very own. This past Thursday, ZNS Northern Service would have lost our beloved Assistant General Manager of News, Radio and Programming, Natalie Martinborough. And now we are reeling with the loss of our newly appointed minister responsible for broadcasting and former colleague, the Honorable Obi Wilchcombe. In one of his last interviews with us, Wilchcombe would have shared on what Martinborough meant to us and to him in her tenured career.
She did an incredible job for all the years, never being involved in controversy, never being accused of being biased, no one ever asking or questioning her and thinking about what she did at the political polls, because she was always a professional, providing equitable time for anyone she interviewed, always getting the true story and going after the true story, not being afraid of covering the hard story and bringing the facts to the Bahamian people. She was, in fact, a major player in our history, more than 30 years. Think about it. We're only 50 years old. Think about it. She was impacting our society. She was helping our growth and our development. She was a contributor to the socioeconomic, political growth of our country through the media.
The Honorable Obi Wilchcombe praised Natalie Martinborough as one of the greats in the field of journalism. He notes that she never sought popularity, but always pursued the truth. Her legacy and the lasting impact she has made will never be forgotten.
All she wanted to do was cover the news. All she wanted to do was inform the Bahamian people to make sure that we were kept up to speed on everything. And when tragedy hit, whether it was a hurricane or any devastation, you can see it in her face. You can listen to her voice, and you knew she was feeling it for the Bahamian people. Now we feel it for her because she's left us, but she contributed, and we can build upon her legacy. We give God thanks for the wonderful contribution. She was what I call my little sister, because she called me her big brother. And throughout our lives, we always ended our conversations with, "I love you."
The community of Grand Bahama continuing to mourn the loss of another iconic broadcaster, Natalie Martinborough. A former news anchor reflects on her life and legacy. That story and more when the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, returns.
You asked for it, you've got it. A new plant nursery fully loaded with everything you need. And extended hours, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturdays, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Every Sunday from noon until 4 p.m., join us at Portobello's Restaurant at the Grand Lucayan for a delicious full buffet spread. Call 373-1333 for more information.
Don't miss the 25% end-of-season sale at Park & Shop this September 27th, 28th, 29th, and 30th, excluding underwear and red tag items. It's the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture Grand Bahamas National Youth Month opening service under the theme Youth Excellence is the Standard. October 1st, 3 p.m. at Calvary Temple. Depression, mental illness, guilt, trauma, and substance abuse. These are some of the symptoms that lead one to contemplate suicide.
The month of September is recognized as Suicide Prevention Month, a time when countries and organizations around the world raise awareness on suicide and focus efforts on directing treatment to those who need it most.
Suicide Prevention Awareness, right here on the ZNS Network. Wednesday, September 27th at 8 p.m. Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. In news from the courts, 33-year-old Simone Outen hauled before the magistrate's court on Monday, September 25, 2023, facing a murder charge. According to reports, Outen was involved in an altercation with the victim, Patrick Daxon, while at a residence in Abaco on Monday, June 26, 2023. Now, the victim was stabbed about the body and succumbed to his injuries while in hospital Saturday, September 9, 2023. Outen was not required to enter a plea and was remanded to the Department of Corrections in New Providence until December 14, 2023. Well, the news of broadcast Natalie Martin-Burrow's death continues to send shockwaves throughout the community. Tonight, a former broadcaster and television anchor, Karen M. Brister, reflects on her life and legacy. Christine Pinder reports.
Broadcaster Natalie Martin-Burrow has left an indelible mark on the lives of her family, friends, and more so, her colleagues here at the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas Northern Services. It was only this morning that former television news anchor learned of her passing, and it left her in a state of shock.
This is a blow. This is really a blow for me because I really didn't even know that she was sick. But in describing Natalie, she was one of the most dependable and reliable persons I have worked with in my lifetime. Everything she did with excellence. She wasn't just committed to a person or the job. There was a deep commitment for broadcasting that was demonstrated in her work ethics, in the way she performed her duties. Natalie, I would say, was a fun person, but at the same time, she was very serious. She loved her family, and she brought that love into the ZNS family. We were a family.
The former television news anchor describes her as a multi-talented individual who worked at various levels of the broadcast industry.
She made her on-screen contributions, but I feel that her greatest contribution was behind the scene, editing, researching, and producing. She will always be remembered as a broadcaster of excellence. She was my right hand, my left hand, and my 2 feet. She had a memory out of this world. Every time we needed to get something, Natalie she would do the research. It was right there in her brain. So she will truly be missed.
Further, she described her as a consummate professional who greatly impacted her life.
Natalie gave me that stamina. Sometimes it was really rough. I know in broadcasting, you end up doing 2 and 3 and 4 jobs. But Natalie was one person who gave me the stamina, and she made me want to operate in excellence. She made me want to do more and more in broadcasting. She impacted my life, truly.
Natalie Martin-Burrow is gone, but will certainly not be forgotten. Her legacy will live on in the hearts and minds of her colleagues here at the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas. For the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition, I'm Christine Pinder.
And as the community comes to grips with the loss of our news icon, local pastor Eddie Victor shares his fondest memories created with the late Natalie Martinborough. Shane Stubbs brings you that report.
It's hard to put into words what Natalie Martinborough meant, not just to us here at the Broadcasting Corporation and the Northern Service, but to the community. Known affectionately as the Human Directory, there was no one that she couldn't call on, and more so, she was someone that could be reached at any time. Local pastor Eddie Victor shares in those sentiments, and tonight he shares his thoughts on the incomparable news talent, producer, and friend.
We are so sad to hear this news.
When it came down to covering social issues here on the island, Pastor Eddie and Margot Victor would always look to Martinborough for assistance, something they say made Nats a gem here in the North.
Natalie was an amazing, awesome woman. And I thank God for her service and how she was so helpful to us in so many things that we did relative to the community, and her part in the making sure that the news was reported.
But their relationship was strengthened when the Northern Service was faced with being taken off the national airwaves back in 2010. It was Natalie's petition to the pastors in the Northern Bahamas and the community that changed the tide and kept the Northern Service station alive on national TV.
We made it known to the public concerning our support and belief that the Northern Service must continue with the staff. We also met with the government and gave a very, very strong opposition to what the government was planning at that time. Today, we still have a very, very thriving ZNS Northern Service.
But even more than that, they both shared a common bond, and that was an undying love for the things of God. Remembered as someone who held on to her faith, the local pastor has no doubt on where Martinborough's soul has taken residence.
I know she's with the Lord, and we pray that the Lord will help us all during this very difficult time.
And he says there's only one fitting way to honor her memory.
One of the best ways that we can continue to honor Natalie Martinborough's memory is to continue to serve the Northern Bahamas by continuing to provide the best news coverage in the entire Bahamas. I would often tell her that ZNS News Northern Service is the best news reporting in the country.
No doubt our beloved Natalie stayed true to the Northern Service, ensuring that you, the viewers, stayed informed, educated, empowered, and entertained. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Shane Stubbs.
Stay with us. There's more news when we come back.
Hospital has reimagined primary care. We have invested to improve our health system, ensuring that accessible, affordable, world-class clinical care is closer to you. Your relationship with a primary care provider shapes the foundation of your overall health. Our new, modern primary care facilities are where critical diagnosis and true personalized treatment begin. With locations in Freeport and 8 Mile Rock, we invite you to experience the Doctors Hospital difference. Book your next appointment at clinics.doctorshos.com.
This is a public safety announcement from the Grand Bahama Power Company. Customers are reminded to ensure that a transfer switch is installed when a backup energy source, such as a generator, is being used. When a storm strikes and knocks out power to your home, you may be forced to use a backup energy source, such as solar panels or a generator. Do you know about the potential danger or how to safely use backup energy sources? There's one major risk that you should be aware of. It's called backfeed, and it can endanger you, a family member, or someone else, especially a lineman or electrician working near your property. What is backfeed? Backfeed occurs when power travels from your solar setup or generator back through the utility line, resulting in them being unknowingly re-energized. Backfeed creates a very dangerous and potentially deadly situation for line workers and the general public. If your solar system or generator isn't properly installed, the backfeed of electric current could severely injure or kill a lineman working to restore power. The best way to avoid backfeed is by installing a transfer switch. Transfer switch ensures your household isn't connected to the power grid and the backup energy source at the same time. To prevent backfeed, generators, whether permanent or portable, should never be plugged into a home's wiring or directly to the circuit breaker panel. Be sure to have a qualified, licensed electrician install your backup energy source and a transfer switch, thereby eliminating backfeed. Preventing backfeed could save a life.
The Light, coffee and conversation with me, Gigi, waking you up each day. The aim is to inspire you. The aim is to encourage you. It's a joy to come here each and every morning. I don't consider this work at all. I haven't worked a day in my life. That's how much I enjoy it.
Depression, mental illness, guilt, trauma, and substance abuse. These are some of the symptoms that lead one to contemplate suicide.
The month of September is recognized as Suicide Prevention Month, a time when countries and organizations around the world raise awareness on suicide and focus efforts on directing treatment to those who need it most.
Suicide Prevention Awareness, right here on the ZNS Network. Wednesday, September 27th at 8 p.m. Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Well, tonight we extend birthday greetings to Adelaide Pinder, who celebrates her birthday today. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you had a great day. And that concludes the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. On behalf of the entire news team here in the North, I'm Ramiko Knowles. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Be sure to stay tuned. The Bahamas Tonight continues.
Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, a somber cabinet meeting. Regional tourism heads to honor Wilchcombe. The Bahamas and Qatar deepen ties. And in sports, government basketball championships continue. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, starts now.
ZNS News is brought to you by the new BTC. Fiber is here. Faster, stronger, more reliable. Together, we are unstoppable. Switch today.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. I'm Akush Lapinder. Thanks for tuning in. A pall of sadness. A day later, and reality still setting in for colleagues of veteran broadcaster and politician, the Honorable Obi Wilchcombe, whose sudden death shook many to the core. Cleopatra Murphy caught up with a few cabinet ministers on a day set to be particularly somber.
Flags are being flown at half-mast at the office of the Prime Minister, where Cabinet met on Tuesday for the first time since the passing of the Honorable Obi Wilchcombe. And his Cabinet colleagues say his presence will definitely be missed.
He left a very deep void in the party, because he was like the heartbeat of the party, in my opinion. And he knows his politics, and he is one person that doesn't beat around the bush. He tell you like it is, whether you like it or not. And so, for me personally,
Minister of State for Aviation, the Honorable Basil McIntosh, says during his last conversation with the now-deceased Minister of Social Services, Information and Broadcasting, Wilchcombe invited him to visit his constituency, which he regrettably did not get to do. Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, the Honorable Mario Boleg, says he watched the coverage of Wilchcombe's passing on Monday, but still finds it hard to accept the man he views as one of the greatest assets of the Davis administration is no longer there.
He was one that was a mentor to many of us, taught us the way and the ropes on how we should conduct ourselves in the public, and also as relates to a politician, and also the rules and regulation that governs the House. So I will definitely miss him, because I called on him many times to ensure that I did things right, because he always would tell us, as it relates to him being a former media person, that, we must know how to avoid certain questions, how to pivot, and he taught us a lot.
Minister of Agriculture and Marine Resources, the Honorable Jomo Campbell's final conversation with Wilchcombe came at ZNS's relaunch last Thursday. Wilchcombe, whom he deemed as a perfectionist, spoke about just that rare quality he wanted fellow journalists and his parliamentary colleagues to strive for.
When we were in the House of Assembly, he spoke to us over and over about the small things that make a really big difference. Being on time, being prepared, knowing the facts, knowing the issues, knowing the needs of your constituents, knowing the needs of your ministry. So, today is going to be a somber day, but in knowing the minister, we know that he would want us to press on, to carry on with the business of the country as he did to his last minute.
Much like at the office of the Prime Minister, a number of government buildings, including the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas and the Ministry of Social Services, flew national flags at half-mast, an acknowledgement that the life of a man who Campbell hails as a Bahamian hero has ended.
Who will receive former Cabinet Minister Obi Wilchcombe's body when it arrives at the House of Assembly to lie in state. Still, she hopes to take comfort in the memories. In a full-page statement, DeVoe fondly reflected on her colleague's signature smile, calm presence, and assuring nod that she said signaled that everything would be okay. His grace, his humility, his style, his professionalism, and love for country, she says, are what defined him more than anything else, adding that his mantra to her was continue the journey. We have a country to build. Speaker DeVoe says for now, then, she will not say goodbye, but see you later. Well, no doubt Obi Wilchcombe touched many lives and along the way forged many close bonds, counted among them his successor as Minister of Tourism, Vincent Vanderpool Wallace. Both men held down the substantive cabinet portfolio and also served as leaders of the Caribbean Tourism Organization. Defining Wilchcombe as an extraordinary and talented Minister of Tourism, Vanderpool Wallace fondly reminisced on his late colleague's strong enthusiasm for new ideas and advice to bolster the country's top industry.
He was both a nationalist and a regionalist. He was a very strong supporter of my time as head of the Caribbean Tourism Organization. In fact, we often laughed at the story that the only campaign that I was ever in charge of was his to become chairman of CTO. And I told him I'd retire after that to keep my record at 100% success. He will be greatly missed by the Bahamas for his compassion, his foresight, and his extraordinary oratorical skills. May he rest in peace.
Tourism Minister Obi Wilchcombe approved the appointment of Joy Jibrilu as Director General of Tourism in 2014. It's that very move that propelled a successful professional and personal relationship between what would become lifelong friends. Shocked following Wilchcombe's passing, Jibrilu says her former boss was a fearless leader and one of the most respected ministers of tourism the country has ever seen.
He thought out of the box. His ideas were incredible. And actually, we all used to worry when he came with his little black notebook with his scribble. We called it his scratch, the minister scratch. And he would come up with all these ideas that he'd thought about. Certainly at the ministry, he saw the best in everyone. And he pushed all of us to be more than we thought that we could ever be. And he did so because he believed in us. He genuinely believed that the Bahamians were best at everything and they could do everything that anyone else could. It didn't matter our size. It did not matter our limitations. He never saw obstacles, only the opportunities. And he was so proud of his team and was not ashamed to express his sense of pride in anything that he felt we had done well.
Obi Wilchcombe's life and legacy on regional tourism to be remembered at the Caribbean Tourism Organization's State of the Industry Conference in the Turks and Caicos Islands next month. That from CTO Chairman and Cayman Islands Minister of Tourism and Ports, the Honorable Kenneth Bryan, who lauded Minister Wilchcombe as a true champion for the people of the Bahamas and the wider Caribbean region. In the CTO's official statement, Chairman Bryan recalled Minister Wilchcombe's significant contribution to the advancement of sustainable tourism development in the region during his tenure as chairman from 2002 to 2004 and again 2016 to 2017. Well, our Desmond Saunders spoke to several ZNES employees who are mourning the loss of a man who really was much more than just a boss.
Well, he was always diligent with work. He was very serious about his work.
Mr. Wilchcombe would have been, responsible for oversight of some of those productions, and he heard my voice, and he said, you have a good voice. We should put your voice on television.
But Obi, we worked together throughout the years at the Broadcasting Corporation when I was a production assistant. When I first started working here at ZNS this years ago, and Obi was always that kind of, well-read, well-informed person.
Employees and executives at the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas reliving fond memories of their friend and colleague who died early Monday morning. News of his passing sending shockwaves throughout the halls of the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas, a place he cherished and loved for over 20 years.
The staff has risen to the occasion, even in their grief. Crews came in automatically in the news department. We were on the air. Our talents have been on the air all day. Our technical people, our camera persons, our audio people behind the controls, everyone is working around the clock all day. No one has stopped to complain or ask what's going on. They recognize they have a duty and a responsibility to get the job done. They're doing it, but it's tough.
Days before his death, General Manager of the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas, Clint Watson, recalling Wilchcombe's intimate role in the company's recent rebranding and restructuring exercise.
I miss knowing that he's going to call me and say, hey, you guys on the air? What's up next? What's the plan? He was supposed to meet with my team tomorrow for the opening of Parliament. He wanted to find out what's the plan because he wanted to be on the ground to make sure we're covering these things properly, we're covering them accurately, we're doing what the national station should do.
A distinguished journalist, Wilchcombe joined the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas in 1975 and rose through the ranks, becoming Assistant General Manager. Deputy Chairman of the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas, Atham Abo, remembering the Minister of Social Services and Information as a young, dashing sports enthusiast and devout believer whose legacy in life will be etched in the annals of history.
The Honorable Minister saw the staff of ZNS as really the true assets of the company. He admires communication. He's a communicator. He believed in training, technical and otherwise. He bought into the view that ZNS should be rebranded, and I'm sure at some point restructured.
As the country mourns his death, BCP executives organizing a fitting tribute to honor his life and work. Desmond Saunders, The Bahamas Tonight.
Well, Kelsey Johnson, Charles Carter, Ed Bethel. And as we're all now aware, on September 25th, Obadiah Hercules Wilchcombe joined the ranks of broadcasting greats who faded to black. But in doing so, he left an indelible print on the local journalism field. Wilchcombe, who died suddenly in Grand Bahama at the age of 64, never forgot, though, the pioneers on whose shoulders he stood, those who understood the importance of using their talents as tools for national development.
The quality of our broadcasting must be of the highest level. Our sound must be a sound of excellence. Our broadcasters must broadcast with excellence. Our programs must be comparable to any program in North America, in Europe, Latin America, or any part of the world. We intend to make a difference.
Continued tributes to former Cabinet Minister Obi Wilchcombe when we continue. You're watching The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report.
Brought to you by Folk Call Smart Pass, the smart way to pay at the pump.
It has the looks, the style, the performance. Your new car is everything you always dreamed of. Now it's here. Commonwealth Bank was happy to help put you behind the wheel with a new car loan at a competitive rate and fast, friendly approval. It's a service that just comes naturally to us, just like how love of tradition comes naturally to you. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
Just when Leo was about to buy this useless pair of Hands underwear, he remembered that it was Tuesday. Hungry for deals? You better come satisfy it at KFC before doing something crazy. Crazy Tuesdays! 5 juicy, mouth-watering pieces of world-famous KFC chicken, handmade with a secret blend of 11 herbs and spices for only $10. Crazy Tuesdays! A finger-licking good deal.
My business couldn't survive without my credit card machine from Fidelity.
It's fast, convenient, and my clients love it.
My sales increase, and I can track my earnings.
Get your credit card machine from Fidelity today.
Call 356-7764.
You can find it all at Builders Mall. From cement, lumber, block, plumbing, and electrical to paint, lights, vanities, and tiles. Not to mention all the tools you could possibly need to get the job done. Say if you're starting a major project, adding the finishing touches, or just doing some repair or rental work around the house. FYP, the Paint Center, and Tile King can help. Stop by or call 601-8453. Located 69 Wolf Road, Nassau. You can find it all at Builders Mall. Building, painting, and tiling, the Bahamas.
You got termites and need to get rid of them fast? Trust Rent-A-Kill Initial. With over 60 years experience in the Bahamas, the global brand, training, and expertise can't be beat. Only Rent-A-Kill Initial gives you a 3-year warranty and payment plan options on termite fumigation. No one can match the range of treatments we offer, such as fumigation, pre-construction treatments, termite monitoring, and more. No matter where you are in the Bahamas, we will come to you. When it comes to complete termite eradication, there's only one name, Rent-A-Kill Initial.
As condolences pour into the Wilchcombe family, members of the Bahamas National Youth Choir Alumni Association are reminiscing on their friend and supporter of the Orange economy, board member Latoya Moxie.
I've been in the hospitality industry for almost 20 years, and obviously he was the former Minister of Tourism, so I had opportunities to travel, spend time with him, sit at the same tables, have conversations, and I would say he was well known and well loved in the industry, especially amongst our counterparts in the States, traveling to different sales conferences and just travel shows, and so I'm sure he's going to be missed. I saw him on Thursday at an event that we attended for the relaunch of ZNS, and he was very excited to support the Bahamas National Youth Choir. When we told him what we were about to do, he was very much on board because he loved the youth, he loved culture, he loved everything that was creative, and that's something we're going to miss about him, definitely.
The choir deeming Wilchcombe a professional of the highest order.
The organization, it touches the heart, but more personally, I knew Minister Wilchcombe on a personal level. He was not only just an avid politician, he was a great historian. When you heard stories, and he always talked about the fact that of his mentorship by the late Sir Lyndon Pinling, that was important to him. And whenever we would speak, you know, he would always give me encouraging words. I know he would always end the conversation with "One love, my brother," and I will always remember that.
Well, founder and president of Marriage Children Family Alliance, Cheryl Joaquin Alexandra, is today saying thanks posthumously to the late Minister of Social Services, Obi Wilchcombe, for his support and positive impact on the development of her organization. She spoke of a 3-hour-long meeting with the minister when he first assumed office, the perspective and guidance he shared.
He shared a number of his concerns as we shared what our mission was, and one of those was the upliftment of families. We recognized that it was all about families, and as we work to build families, you know, all of these problems will be reduced. One of the things that he was concerned about, in addition to other social issues, was the atmosphere within children's homes. He was very concerned that families, the family atmosphere wasn't there. And one of our initiatives also is to establish a family youth transitional home that will help those young people or those persons who are about to leave the homes to gain the skills necessary to enter society.
Joaquin Alexandra says Wilchcombe's contributions to the advancement of social services are appreciated and his loss profound.
He was all about research and getting to know what was really needed and what were the resolutions to the problems that we face. And so we definitely owe a debt of gratitude for the openness that he gave us, the space that he gave us to be able to share. And as I said, these things are some of the things that we took away from that, in that he would have shared how he wanted to do more, and he had a great heart and desire for helping people, and so we benefited from that.
The loss of a loved one, a bitter pill to swallow, and ways to cope can many times be overbearing. Within days, the ZNS family lost 2 of its giants, Assistant General Manager of News in the North, Natalie Mattenborough, and its Minister of Broadcasting and Information, the Honorable Obi Wilchcombe. Dr. Glenn Rose shares advice on ways to grapple with grief.
Embrace the realities of these things, but more importantly, we carry the memory, the life, that the person who is amongst us is more than just flesh. They were words, they have building blocks that we can touch and feel. And for some, it simply means visiting the gravesite. For some, it's celebrating, whether it be their birthday. For some, it is the things that they brought. When you hear a joke or when you hear a statement, you know that was the person who was that meaningful in your life. And so take all you can, but have the family support, the church support, and all of those are an important part of the coping mechanism going forward.
Marcellus Hall joins us in studio with a check on what's coming up in sports. Marcellus?
Coming up in sports for you tonight, a doozy at the Air Valley Gym. We'll give you the latest from the Government Departmental Basketball Association Championships just ahead in sports.
Good morning, I'm Obi Wilchcombe. Welcome to our live coverage of the opening of the 1992 session of Parliament. And this will, of course, be a 5-year session this morning.
As is bold, strategic, and headed in the right direction.
The truth is, I was very much involved with politics in a way because of my father. My father was, in fact, the founding member of the PLP in Grand Bahama. In fact, it was my father who caused for many to join and build the organization in Grand Bahama. And at even one point, he was a campaign manager in a fight against his own brother who had run for the UBP.
As Martin Luther King reminded us, you don't have to have a college degree to give service. Said service comes from the heart and from the soul. It's your heart and soul that we've seen. Your determination to make a difference. Your determination to help others, to give hope, to give help, to feed, to give to the needy.
Well,
We have to do more in our country. Of course, you know the issues we're facing with inflation. It's increasing in our country. The high cost of food, no doubt. So there'll be many more who'll be looking for assistance. Together with the Great Commissions, together with other organizations, let's give to those individuals who need our help the most.
I'm Corvell Pyfrom. BTC sends its heartfelt sympathies on the sudden passing of Social Services, Information and Broadcasting Minister and Member of Parliament for West, Grand Bahama and Bimini, the Honorable Obadiah Wilchcombe. We enjoyed a productive working relationship with the late minister and are proud of what we accomplished together on several initiatives. The creation of the Child Abuse Hotline marked a major milestone.
I'm so very pleased that BTC, over the many years, linked this country, is now linking this country in another way. My father spent 39 years with BTC, and I could not understand when I was a little boy the talking in codes and everything they were doing. I didn't understand what communication meant because I was a boy in Freeport, Grand Bahama, and thought I had everything. And then realized that we had islands stretched over 700 miles where many of our Bahamians did not have what we had.
On other programs like the Falcon Boys Youth Initiative and Mr. Wilchcombe's gracious welcoming of our CEO during a courtesy call, we extend our condolences to Mr. Wilchcombe's friends, family, supporters, constituents, and Bahamians everywhere on the loss of this Bahamian giant and icon, Obadiah Hercules Wilchcombe. Faster, stronger, more reliable, unstoppable. Be well and be back here next BTC Connection.
Welcome to the all-new CBS Pro Store. We'll be introducing various products such as plywood, sheetrock, metal stud, and a whole array of bulk construction products. But you can expect the same high level of service that you have been receiving at CBS Bahamas. We originally opened the store in 1980 as our retail location. Hearing from our customers that they wanted us to cater more to contractors, we decided to open the CBS Pro Store here at Robinson Road. So come by and visit us at CBS Pro Store on Robinson Road, where we can help you build beautiful.
What's a Sand Dollar rebate? It's the digital Bahamian dollar back in your wallet. Top up any Sand Dollar enabled digital wallet and make a purchase of $50 or more in Sand Dollars at Super Value, Quality Supermarkets, Solomon's Fresh Market, or Sawyer's Fresh Market. Get up to $25 back when you redeem your rebate online between September 15th and October 15th at sanddollar.bs/rebate. Rules and restrictions apply.
Introducing the Focal Smart Pass app that helps you to fuel up faster. Here's how it works. Download the app on the App Store or get it on Google Play and create your profile with payment details. Visit your nearest Shell station. Open the app, scan the pump's QR code. Select your payment amount and begin fueling. Say goodbye to cash and cards because the Focal Smart Pass offers secure and convenient payment options right at your fingertips. Download Focal Smart Pass now and fuel up faster today.
Life of a 44-year-old man cut short again due to gun violence. Our Lloyd Allen today visited the scene of the crime where the victim lived only a block away from where he met his death.
A massive manhunt now underway for the driver of a black Nissan Note that was involved in a shooting incident on Monday night. Now, according to police, just after 9 in this area, this is Acacia Avenue in the Pinewood Gardens community. They say that black vehicle pulled up at this home right behind me where shots were fired. Now, 3 persons were standing in front of the home at the time. The victim, which was a 44-year-old male, and another man and a female. Now, according to police reports, the victim was transported to hospital after sustaining a number of injuries, but as a result of those injuries, he died a short time later. Police also appealing to members of the public and also community members that may have any information that can lend to their investigations to call the Central Detective Unit at 502-9991-3 for any assistance that can help. Reporting here from the Pinewood Gardens community for the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Lloyd Allen.
A 33-year-old Abaco woman's failed bid to end her life is under active investigation. The police noting that it took place shortly after 11 last night. According to police, the woman was at her Sandy Point home when she ingested prescription medication along with alcohol in an attempt to commit suicide. At last report, she was in stable condition. Bahamians rising to the top of professional fields all over the world. Chief Wayne Jones recently became the latest with his appointment to the top job in the Miami Beach Police Department. Our Corville Pipe from yesterday traveled to Miami Beach to meet the chief, and here's the first in a series of reports from their conversation.
It's been nearly a month now since Bahamian-born veteran police officer Wayne Jones took office as chief of the Miami Beach Police Department. A historic moment as Jones became the city's first ever black police chief. The moment bringing elation across Miami Beach and beyond. The city's mayor, President Joe Biden, sending a letter of support, and from Prime Minister Philip Davis. And so on this day, we visited with the chief. We started by asking, what does he want this moment to mean for black people here in this city and in the country where he was born?
There is nothing special about me. So to answer the question, I'd like people to think, when they see me, there's nothing special about Wayne Jones. And you can do anything you really, really put your mind to. It requires some work and dedication and motivation. But if Wayne Jones can do it, you can do it too.
His appointment to Miami Beach's top cop position follows a 27-year career within the organization, rising through every rank of the department, an almost completely unthinkable journey given that for much of his childhood, his father had warned him to be careful of the police. This realization still seems to stun the now 54-year-old.
The perception, or some may say the misperception, was if you were a young black man at the time driving in the city of Miami Beach, you were stopped arbitrarily for no reason at all, and sometimes arrested, what people believe to be no reason at all.
The chief, and yes, that's how they refer to him here. Chief Jones is reluctant about making a big deal about all that he has accomplished. And it's hard not to. Consider that 54 years ago, this man was born in the Bahamas, schooled at C.W. Sawyer, then S.E. McPherson before graduating from the A.F. Adderley High School. It wasn't until age 18 that he relocated here to the United States, and it wasn't even to pursue a career in law enforcement.
The most special thing about Wayne Jones is the fact I'm of Bahamian blood, Bahamian heritage, true, and that's been my motivation.
Being chief of police keeps him busy, but the husband and father of 5-year-old twins stays grounded or uses downtime to indulge in another of his passions, flying. He even has his own plane, which he takes up in the air as often as he can.
I just enjoy it. And it's a time when it's just about me, right? I feel this sort of peace. I can let everything sort of float away and just enjoy it. I loved the work I do, the job I do, my commitment to my organization and to the people that work for me, because without them, doing the heavy lifting every day, I wouldn't be where I am today.
The chief says he hopes to bridge the gap between community and police. He wants the more than 400 sworn officers serving under him to know that they will be supported, and Bahamians to know he carries the Bahamas with him every step of the way. In Miami Beach for the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Corvell Pyfrom.
Well, Qatar and the Bahamas deepen ties 18 months after first making the long trek and building a strong relationship along the way. Officials today executed a memorandum of understanding between Qatar's Ministry of Transport and the Bahamas' Ministry of Tourism, Investments and Aviation. As Tourism Minister, the Honorable Chester Cooper tells it the MOU concretizes agreements in principle surrounding the development of aviation and other related services.
There will be an ongoing affiliation between the Qatar Aeronautical Academy and the new Bahamas Aeronautical Academy, where we will exchange best practice and know-how, and we will cater to new students entering the aviation field, whether they want to be a commercial pilot, air traffic controller, aviation mechanic, or to study aviation management. This is a program that we are starting in the Bahamas, but will be extended to the Caribbean region. Also, in the aviation field, we will be provided some technical assistance in terms of aviation safety and in some other areas where we have determined that we can use some assistance from the state of Qatar.
Minister Cooper, who's leading the trade mission to West Asia, is hoping talks with Qatar will lead elsewhere.
Hopefully begin a process where the Bahamas might be a hub for Qatar Airways, catering to multi-destination travel, hopefully catering to Latin America as well. This is an ongoing conversation. We are working together with Qatar Airways and Bahamas Air to provide certain technical assistance to Bahamas Air. I foreshadowed before that Qatar Airways would provide some support in terms of business planning, feasibility, commercial and other technical assistance. We have an open skies arrangement with USA, UK and Canada, where we might in future see Bahamas Air offering long-haul flights, perhaps operated by Qatar Airways. This is just an example of some areas where we might cooperate and collaborate.
Well, meantime, an historic downtown hotel hosting a two-day job fair ahead of its grand reopening later this year. Fern Carey tells us how things shaped up.
Job seekers turning out in large numbers Tuesday to take advantage of a variety of jobs being offered at the British Colonial Hotel ahead of its much-anticipated reopening in December. Hotel officials say they are looking to hire about 300 people for the newly renovated resort downtown.
We're looking for all positions today. Today is our hourly associates, so we're looking for housekeeping, food and beverage, finance. We're looking for culinary talent, stewarding. We're looking for front office talent, retail talent, and also just some other positions in food and beverage, like for the coffee shop and some other areas.
Now, it's not even 10 o'clock yet, but as you can see behind me, this line is snaking all the way into the parking lot, with people camping out here since 6 o'clock this morning.
Me being from working in Miami in my last position, we were excited to get 100 people to show up for our job fairs. So this is spectacular.
Renovations to the historic hotel were carried out to the tune of some $50 million. McDermott believes customers will be pleased with the results.
The new British Colonial, I think, it's comfortable, it's luxurious, but it's also casual at the same time. So I think people are going to be surprised at the attention to detail that ownership has spent quite an amount of time in ensuring that all of the details that are there are done correctly and done with, I think, great taste and great class, and also keeping with the history of the property.
The hotel will hold another job fair for persons seeking supervisory positions on Wednesday, September 27th at the same location. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Fern Carey.
In case you missed the news or want to stay ahead, subscribe to our YouTube channel or follow us on X. TikTok, Instagram, or Facebook.
Are you a Bahamian artist? Do you love your Bahamian culture? Are you ready for an opportunity of a lifetime? Keep the Vibe Alive Music Group cordially invites you to submit your unreleased Rake and Scrape single now and join the League of Extraordinary Musical Talents. We're seeking authenticity, innovation, and the quintessential Bahamian flair that sets your music apart. To showcase your talent on Island Jams Volume 3. So, simply share your private YouTube, SoundCloud links, or MP3 with us via email at keepthevibelive242@gmail.com. Our ears are tuned to greatness, and we can't wait to discover the next star to grace our Island Jams album series. Join hands with the best of the best as we craft a musical journey that echoes through time. Don't miss your chance to shine among the brightest musical talents. Songwriters, producers, artists, and become a part of Island Jams Volume 3.
Join up for life insurance. Secure the ones that you love. Join up with Family Guardian. We offer full protection. Join the family. Join the family. Family Guardian. Protect the ones you love. A friend that you can trust. Family Guardian.
Hey, it's your honorary pump attendant back again with another episode on the do's and don'ts at the service station. Let's go. What you ain't gonna do is just pull up to any dispenser and put the nozzle inside your car without reading the signs. Because if you put the wrong fuel inside your car and the car mess up, you could be mad at us, all right? And then you have to walk or catch bus for about 3 to 18 months. What you're supposed to do is read the signs. We place signs all over the dispenser to tell you which fuel is which. Because you put the wrong one in the car, say bop, and you could be mad at us. You could be, oh, what happened to my car? No, it's you who ain't read. It say diesel, diesel, one word, diesel. You got up, and you mad at us. Read, that's all you have to do.
The most important thing in life is family. And whenever you need reliable advice, you look to the people you know you can trust. At J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers, we earn our clients' trust every day. Whether it's home, motor, travel, or commercial insurance, we've got you covered. Call 397-2100 or visit jsjohnson.com.
JS Johnson Insurance, peace of mind.
Hi everyone, when heading to Florida to shop for your essentials, book your transportation with GoGoFlorida.com. The $100 cash deposit is back now on your debit card. Accepted at Fort Lauderdale, Miami, Palm Beach, and Orlando. Now there are lots of options to choose from, but I like the Tesla X, the electric vehicle, because I don't have to worry about gassing up. Or the Jeep Compass seating 5 with lots of space for your luggage or shopping bags. For the best deals, book now at GoGoFlorida.com, BahamasAir.com, and also available at Bahamas Air Sales Office.
Sometimes life hints at your next step, sending you signs all around, even in unexpected places, to lead you in the right direction. The signs are clear. It's time to pay less for your current mortgage and switch to Scotiabank. Enjoy lower interest rates and no payments up to 2 months when you switch your mortgage to Scotiabank. Plus, we'll even pay your switch costs. Paying less gives you more when you switch to Scotiabank.
Biminites coming together yesterday to pay respect to their long-time representative, Obi Wilchcombe, who died suddenly in Grand Bahama on Monday. LaDawn Davis fills us in.
Bimini ranks high as one of the smaller islands in the archipelago chain, but on Monday, its residents turned out in droves and lined the narrow streets in an outpouring of love and support following the death of a man they called the People's Minister. The untimely death of their Member of Parliament, the Honourable Obi Wilchcombe, a crushing blow for Biminites, even those whose political views differed. Island Administrator Eva K. Arthur says as their leading man, Obi fought aggressively to improve life for his constituents.
Ireland was just so surreal. For people
the residents of the island were it was just a somber mood throughout the whole island yesterday. You know, persons were just in shock. Some couldn't work, some they were crying. It was just so surreal yesterday. And the people of Bimini loved Minister Wilchcombe, and they spoke about him yesterday from their hearts and souls.
Wilchcombe's former vice chair during the 2021 general elections, Devon Wool, says the late MP's love for Bimini and West End was unmatched, and even when defeated in 2017, their love for him never wavered.
He was the Minister of Tourism during the two Christie governments. So, and Bimini is a tourist island. Him, along with Sir Baltram Bethel, helped brought the Henton group here. So he had a profound impact here when they first did the dredging, the beaches. Obi had a lot of impact here. He wasn't perfect, but he was a warrior. He was a true patriot.
Similar words from close friend Katie Saunders, who says no matter what her member of parliament may have been dealing with personally, it didn't hinder him from doing the work of the people.
He was truly a Hercules, because no matter what the obstacles, the challenge, or the trials he faced, whether it was in politics or personal, he always showed a good face and encouraged the people of Bimini.
These were some of the last bit of plans Obi envisioned for his beloved Bimini.
In Bimini, the hotel is about to open. That's very good. 300 or more hotel rooms. That's going to help Bimini. Bimini is self-sustainable. It's going to be moving in the right direction.
For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm LaDawn Davis.
Well, it's time now for a check on Family Island weather with Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Good evening, Basil.
Good evening, Makishla. We have cloudy skies, temperature 83 degrees, relative humidity at 78%, easterly winds at 10 miles per hour, the barometric pressure 1,015.7 millibars, that's 29.99 inches. And your temperatures around the Family Islands, they are brought to you by Family Guardian Insurance Company. We're protecting you. 76 degrees in Freeport, Grand Bahama, and Greentoe, Kikinabico, Marshall, Babacola, warmer at 81 degrees. The Berry Islands, 80, Alistown, Bimini, 82, 84 degrees in Harbor Island, Rock, Sandy Lutra, 82, Black Point, Exuma, Camp Space, Andros, and Fresh Creek and Central Islands, all at 83 degrees. And over in Otterstown, Cat Island, San Salvador, and Rumkey, the mercury column, just around 82 degrees. Georgetown, Exuma, 84. 84 also in Ragged Island, Clarence Sound Island, and Crooked Island. Betsy Bay, Miguana, 82. Acklands, 82. 86 degrees in Machitani, Nagua, and the Turks and Caicos Islands at 85 degrees. And your boating forecast tonight is brought to you by Builders Mall, home of F5P, the Tower King, and the Paint Setter. In the Northwestern Islands tonight through Thursday, that persistent southeast wind will continue at 10 to 15 knots. The wave height around 2 to 4 feet. Low tide will occur at 27 minutes past midnight. High tide takes place at 6:27 tomorrow morning. Now for the central and southeastern islands, also through Thursday, easterly winds 12 to 18 knots, wave heights 3 to 6 feet over the ocean. So we have caution flags in place for your boaters in the central and southeastern Bahamas through Thursday. That's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they are brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. That's going to do it for your international temperatures, brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. But stay tuned. Your extended weather forecast is still ahead.
50 years of celebrating the small country that continues to do big things. This year at Character Day, we celebrate people that have love for our country. Like those eco-warriors, like those that provide care, like those that inspire. In this year of our Golden Jubilee, help us celebrate 50 people like these. Log on to characterdaybahamas.org to nominate your Bahamian Hidden Hero.
Disasters strike with little to no warning. We hope for the best, but should be prepared for the worst. And you understand that an always online communication system plays a critical role in business as usual when emergencies occur. At Teleport One, we can prepare your business to operate as normal with our many voice, data, and video solutions. Contact us today and let our team ensure that you operate business as usual. 502-4550 or email sales@teleportone.com.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
Well, welcome to your ZNS Total Sports Check, everybody. I'm Marcellus Hall. Last night, AF Valley Gym, the place to be as the playoffs and championship heating up in the Bahamas Government Departmental Basketball Association. Let's take a quick look and see exactly how it turned out.
It was a pivotal game, too, on Monday night at the AF Adderley Gymnasium in the best-of-7 Government League Basketball Championships. The Police Crime Stoppers would aim to knot up the series at one game apiece, while the Baines and Grantstown Cybots looked to take a commanding 2-zip lead. To the highlights, early on, the Cybots would look to gain an advantage in the interior, working the ball inside. Darryl Pinder with the finish here. He had 9 on the night. Crime Stoppers on the attack. Dion McAfee would get in the lane and find Samar Roll for the easy basket. Stoppers back on the offensive, looking to push the tempo. Kirkland Farrington in transition, hitting this tough floater for 2 of his 10 points. On the other side, the Cybots would be relentless on the glass after several missed attempts. Pinder would clean up with the put-back bucket here. Cybots again back on the offensive. Giorgio walks with this nice crossover to get into the lane for the pull-up jumper. He had 10 points. Story of this one, buckets would be few and far between from both sides, but several clutch shots from guard Abel Joseph, who would finish with a game-high 21 points, would propel the Cybots to a 70-65 win and 2-zip series lead.
We just wanted to take care of the basketball. Last game we made 21 turnovers. We allowed 20 offensive rebounds and 19 points off the turnover. So we just wanted to make sure that we protect the ball as best as possible and rebound the ball better than we did in the first game.
A bittersweet victory for Cybots head coach Wade Watson, who serves as the member of parliament for the Baines and Grantstown community. Still reeling from the loss of his parliamentary colleague, the Honorable Obi Wilchcombe, earlier in the day. Watson had this to say.
Obi was a sporting advocate. As a matter of fact, the first sport Florida ever dawned the Bahamas was the YMCA, and as when Obi was the president, he's the one who made it possible. He put a board floor. Plus, he was a part of the Commonwealth Football Association. He was the president of that flag football league to the Bahamas. Apart from that, he used to play football. He loved the Dolphins. He played football, and he also played basketball. He was a coach as well. So he was an avid sportsman. He'd be missed, man. Trust me, he would really and truly be missed. He meant a lot to me. He played a role as a mentorship in my life.
Game 3 is set for Wednesday at the AF Adderley Gymnasium. For ZNS Total Sports, I'm Amajal Knowles.
All right, thanks a lot, Amajal. Reaction still coming in from the sudden passing of the Honorable Obi Wilchcombe, Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture. The Honorable Mario Boleg today remarking on Wilchcombe as a sportsman.
Obi also was a sports legend and icon. He played football in Grand Bahama. He was a quarterback and one of the best that played, I was told. And so, he loved football. He was a Dolphin fan. Every time he come in cabinet, this would have been the day he would have been bragging about that win of Dolphin, scoring 70 points, But I guess he would have gone away very happy knowing that his Dolphin was successful and won. He's happy right now looking down in heaven.
NRCAC bodybuilding team now all done with competition in Aruba. 10-member team doing extremely well. They collected 4 gold, 3 silver, and 2 bronze medals, as well as 8 top 6 medals for a total of 17. In addition, Terrion Kemp won overall men's physique to attain his pro card. Jonquel Jones and Liberty off to a bad start in the WNBA semifinal series against Jones's former team, the Connecticut Sun. Sun, despite losing all 4 regular season matchups, getting it done in the playoffs, winning 78-63. In that initial contest, Jonquel had 14 points, 11 rebounds, 2 blocks. In the loss, Game 2 set for tonight, New York, looking to even things up. And that's it, your Tuesday night check on sports. Don't go anywhere. We do have that final look at the weather. That's coming up after this.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
Hey,
It's your honorary pump attendant back again with another episode on the do's and don'ts at a service station. Let's go. What you ain't gonna do is just pull up to any dispenser and put the nozzle inside your car without reading the signs. Because if you put the wrong fuel inside your car and the car mess up, you could be mad at us, all right? And then you have to walk or catch bus for about 3 to 18 months. What you're supposed to do is read the signs. We place signs all over the dispenser to tell you which fuel is which. Because you put the wrong one in the car, say bop, and you could be mad at us. You could be, oh, what happened to my car? No, it's you who ain't read. It say diesel, diesel, one word, diesel. You got up, and you mad at us. Read, that's all you have to do.
Enter to win with Hellmann's and Knorr. Buy Hellmann's and Knorr rice or pesticides and take your receipt to purchase on Robinson Road. You could win one of 6 prizes. Enter today.
First we plan, then we innovate, then we build. At Bahamas Striping Group of Companies, we are committed to quality, to safety, and to service. We know that the road you take is just as important as your final destination. At Bahamas Striping Group of Companies, it is our job to make sure the road and the ride are as smooth as possible. From striping roads to building them, we are the right choice, the trusted choice, the only choice to help you build your tomorrow.
Time now for weather.
In our final look at weather, we have Tropical Storm Philippe out there, just barely hanging on to tropical storm status with winds of 45 miles per hour. And we expect it to weaken over the next several days as it continues to move towards the west-northwest. And then over in the far eastern Atlantic, we have this area of showers and thunderstorms, the Hurricane Center, giving it a 90% chance of becoming our next tropical depression. So we'll keep our eyes on that system and keep you abreast. Close to the home, that mid-level low still continues to fuel lots of moisture across the Bahamas. So pockets of showers and thunderstorms will remain in the forecast over the next few days. Tonight, we're looking at considerable cloudiness, very warm conditions, 81 degrees for your low temperature. And tomorrow, a thick cloud cover with a high temperature of 88 degrees. And your extended weather forecast looking like this. Showers and thunderstorms return into the forecast Thursday, Friday, Saturday, right into Sunday. And those temperatures have been quite nice during the daytime. We're keeping a lid on those below the 90-degree mark. Vacation.
Well, thanks, Basil. The 74th anniversary of the founding of the People's Republic of China this coming Sunday. But the Bahamas is getting a jump start on celebration starting tonight at the Margaritaville Resort. And that's where you can find our Lloyd Allen. Lloyd?
Well, of course, good evening, Makushla, and good evening, Bahamas. Right now, we're here at Margaritaville Beach Resort, where members of the Bahamas-China relations are hosting their 74th anniversary of an independent People's Republic of China. Standing here next to us is Dr. Donovan Moxey. He's the president of the Bahamas-China Friendship Association. Mr. Moxey, of course, an important advancement. Talk to us about some of those highlights from the organization.
Yes, this organization has been around since 2004. We got started right after diplomatic relations was started between the two countries, and our organization is put in place to establish economic, cultural, and educational ties between the peoples of the Bahamas and the peoples of China. And so since then, we've been doing a number of activities to try and promote those cultural and friendship ties.
Well, of course, right now, the Prime Minister of the Bahamas, Mr. Philip Davis, is addressing the audience and spoke highly of Minister Wilchcombe, who served in tourism and other sectors here for the Bahamas. Of course, more coming up on this story in a later newscast. Reporting here from the Margaritaville Beach Resort for the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Lloyd Allen.
Well, thanks, Lloyd. And that does it for the Bahamas Tonight. Thank you for continuing to make ZNS your first choice for news and information. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better than ZNS. From all of us here at ZNS, thank you for watching and good night.
What you see on this television station is governed by IRCA's Code of Practice for Content Regulation. The Code of Practice covers matters relating to program content that are of concern to the community, such as local content, news, current affairs, and programs for children, advertising, including